Let's patronize Clue. So in order to really appreciate the true masterpiece that is this movie, let's have a brief history lesson. 1903, British homeboy Tony Pratt was born. He loved chemistry, but when that career path failed him, he became a musician and played piano for Kirsten Flagstad. There she is. Anyway, World War II came, and your boy Tony built things in a factory, but he hated building things in a factory. So in his spare time, to prevent himself from going crazy, he read murder mysteries. He loved reading murder mysteries so much, he was inspired to make one of the best-selling board games of all time, Cluedo. Released in Britain in 1949. The name was changed to Clue for American audiences, because I guess Britain thought we were too stupid to understand their planned words, but it's whatever, I guess. Now, the movie itself is a parody, and starts by introducing us to the characters, who are named after the board game characters. Colonel Mustard, Miss White, Miss Peacock, Mr. Green, Mr. Plum, and Miss Scarlet. There's also a butler, a cook, a maid, and Mr. Body, who is also blackmailing everyone. Because communism. Keep in mind this movie was based off 1950s America. History lesson number 2. The Red Scare was a thing that happened. After World War II, Russia was like, yeah, I guess we're friends, but I have more bombs than you. And America was like, no you don't. And you were like, yes we do. Do you though? Yes I do. No you don't. I do. No you don't. I do. That is exactly what happened. So Americans were terrified of communism, and anti-communism propaganda spread like wildfire. Oh, and McCarthyism was a thing. That's where everyone was constantly getting accused of selling cigarettes to communists, especially political leaders, which is what this movie is actually parodying. Turns out the characters are involved in these deep, dark government conspiracies, like war profiteering, the sex industry with political leaders, disappearing husbands.
He was an illusionist.
But he never reappeared.
He wasn't a very good illusionist.
How many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women's?
Yours.
5. Husbands should be like Kleenex. Soft, strong, and disposable.
Nuclear weapons, working for the State Department.
I work for the State Department, and I'm a homosexual.
The butler arranged the whole shindig to try and gang up on Mr. Body so that he would stop blackmailing everyone, but Mr. Body pulls out a goodie bag full of iconic weapons from the board game and then tries to persuade everyone to kill the butler instead. Long story short, Mr. Body is murdered. Psych! He survived his first assassination attempt, but then he actually really dies. The gang has to figure out who killed Mr. Body, but the longer they wait and try to figure it out, the higher the body count becomes and the more people get murdered. The cook gets murdered, a motor car driver gets murdered, a cop gets murdered, but not until after he gets a tour of the house.
This man's drunk. Dead drunk.
Dead right.
The maid gets murdered, a singing telegraph lady gets murdered, which, who even is she? Like, was she invited? Is she a party crasher? Who sent for a singing telegraph to this event? Like, what is she even doing? Is she a part of the plot? I don't understand. Like, who is she going to give the message to, and what was it going to say? These are questions that we never got answers to. So, thanks for that, movie. Thanks for that, Jonathan. So the movie's body count grand total is 6. 6 people were murdered in less than an hour. Now, the butler has this sudden and dramatic revelation where he declares he knows who done it. He walks everyone through how he knows who killed who, and apparently the cook and the maid were also informers, and they were part of the whole blackmailing scheme, hence why they were murdered. But as he was explaining, a traveling evangelist knocks on the door, but Miss Peacock, who noticed the pattern of visitors dying, told them to go away. The butler continues, and the maid actually killed Mr. Body and the cook, but who killed the maid and everyone else for that matter? Well, I'll tell you. Miss Scarlet. Why did she do it? Secrets in capitalism. Turns out the evangelicals aren't actually evangelicals, or maybe they are, I don't know what their worldview is, but they're undercover cops, and they save the day and arrest her. The end. Just kidding. The movie reveals there's an alternate ending where Miss Peacock is the murderer. How did the butler know she did it? Monkey brains.
It's one of my favorite recipes.
So many questions. First of all, is it even legal to eat a monkey's brain? Second of all, that literally looks like a sponge covered in whipped cream.
It's one of my favorite recipes.
Delicious. Why did Miss Peacock do it? Just kidding. Actually, I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, she leaves, but the evangelicals arrest her. The end.
Kingdom of Heaven is at hand.
No, I lie. Here's what really happened. Mr. Pumpkin, Mr. Body, Miss Peacock killed the cook, more monkey brains, Colonel Mustard killed the motorcar traffic guy, Miss White killed the maid, Miss Scarlet killed the cop, plot twist, the butler killed the singing telegram lady. Plot twist again, the butler is Mr. Body is the butler's butler. Oh, and Mr. Green has a gun.
FBI. I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.
Whoa. Big plot twist about Mr. Green. He does not work for the State Department. He works for the Department of Justice.
Yes, I did it. I killed Yvette. I hated her so much. Flames flames on the side of my face, breathing, heaving breaths